You know, guys, there's not much better than a chicken fried steak with white country gravy and some mashed potatoes, but it's all full of carbs, unless you're in Chris Cookin' Nashville's kitchen. Stick around for carnivore chicken fried steak and mashed potatoes. All right, this is a recipe that is a blast from the past. One of the first recipes that I did on my channel was a carnivore chicken fried steak, and I followed it up with a carnivore gravy, and then later on I invented carnivore mashed potatoes. But I've never done a video with all three of them put together, and honestly, most people probably didn't see that carnivore chicken fried steak that I did back in the day with gravy because nobody was watching my channel when I did that video the first time. So we thought it was time to redo it because there's a whole bunch of you out there who probably don't know that I've done carnivore chicken fried steak for going on 2 years now. I don't think we've had chicken fried steak since the last time I did one of these videos, which actually breaks my heart because this is one of my favorite foods in the entire world.
Same.
I told her, I tried a little bite. I think this is the best chicken fried steak I've ever made. We're gonna see if she agrees, and then I'm gonna show you guys how we do chicken fried steak and gravy, and I'll link you to my mashed potatoes as well.
I'm so excited. Chicken fried steak is actually one of my favorite foods. When I moved to the state of Tennessee, I actually ate chicken fried steak, mashed potatoes, and fried okra every meal. Breakfast, lunch, dinner for my first week. Probably also why I gained a bunch of weight, but
now you can do it without all of the guilt of the carbohydrates.
And this makes me very happy.
Yes.
So your gravy, the texture of everything looks so good. Leave this with me. Your gravy, such good flavor. Your chicken fried steak, it's amazing how crispy. Can I ask what you breaded this with?
Yeah, this is a modified version of several different breadings that I've seen out there. Egg white powder, a few pork rind crumbs, and some Parmesan cheese and beef gelatin. Really more about the way that you put it on there that does specifically what I'm doing here. So the balance of the ingredients is really important as well, but the way you apply it to the steak is what makes it stick the way that it does.
Sometimes with breadings, like if you just did like just pork rinds, I don't mind that, it's fine. What I really like is like I can still actually taste the steak and it's not overpowered by like pork rinds. It's crispy, it's full of flavor. I love your gravy on top of it. I think people would have a hard time figuring out what it was. It just tastes like, you know, if you went to any country restaurant down the street and had it.
No one would ever know that this is a no carb breading that is on there.
I really don't think they would. Let me try some of your potatoes. You know, I always love your mashed potatoes.
Yes.
I'm seriously, like this definitely is the best chicken fried steak though that you've ever made. And it goes so well with your carnivore mashed potatoes, and your gravy is just so on point.
Chicken fried steak or country fried steak or some other type of fried steak. A lot of people asked me the first time around what a chicken fried steak was. It's a pounded out tender steak that is breaded and fried just like fried chicken and covered with white country gravy. So she loves it. I love it. I'm going to show you guys how to make the chicken fried steak and the gravy, and I'm going to link that mashed potatoes video down below. Let's dive in. Let's make some Chris Cookin' Nashville style chicken fried steak.
Cheers.
All right, here is all of our ingredients to get these chicken fried steaks started. This is about a pound of cube steak. You can use ground beef patties, pounded out steaks of your choosing, but you're gonna need about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds. These have been tenderized, which is why I like using these, and they're also inexpensive. I also have 2 eggs, which we're gonna be separating, that we're gonna use for this. And we're gonna be doing a velveting technique with some baking soda. And for seasoning, we're keeping it simple with some black pepper and some salt. First, we're going to separate our eggs. I'm going to put the whites in a large bowl where I'm going to marinate my steaks, and the yolks go in a separate bowl to be used later for our gravy. Now, for a pound of meat, you can use anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. If you get too much, it will taste funky. So for this, I'm going to use just a little bit less than 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. It's not real exact, I'm just eyeballing it. I'm also going to add a pinch of salt to help break down the egg whites. We'll add more to season in a minute. Then a couple of tablespoons of water, and now we just whisk to combine completely. Once this is all well combined, it's going to look a little frothy and it's ready for the steaks. Now we just take our cube steaks and place them into the egg white mixture. Now we can season these to taste with some salt and black pepper. We're going to get a little bit messy. Let's dig our hands in and massage the seasoning and the egg white mixture with that baking soda all over the beef and make sure it is very well coated. So that meat is going to sit and tenderize for 30 minutes to 2 hours with that baking soda. We're going to mix up some breading. This is 3 tablespoons of pork rinds. You can also use chicken flour. If you haven't seen that, I'll link that below. I'm going to use twice as much egg white powder as I do pork crumbs. So this is 6 tablespoons of egg white powder. And this ratio is less vital, but I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of unflavored beef gelatin. Now I'm just going to use a whisk to mix this together and make sure there's no clumps before we season it. So this is about 3 tablespoons of ground up Parmesan cheese. I'm going to add a teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon of onion powder. Remember, seasonings are always optional and to your taste. And because I really like pepper, I'm going to go ahead and add about a half a teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper. Now we just mix in our seasoning, make sure there are no clumps, and we'll be ready to bread our cube steaks. So these cube steaks have sat for about 45 minutes, which means they are ready to bread. So we're going to lay them in on one side, use our other hand, and sprinkle some breadcrumb over the top. Then you turn your hand over, turn your knuckles under, and you're going to use the back of your fingers to press this down. And the reason we're doing this is because it won't stick to your knuckles nearly as bad as it will to the pads of your fingers. So I'm just going to turn that back and forth, shake off a little bit of the excess, set it over here on the cookie sheet, and let it rest. So one more time, this is my wet hand and this is my dry hand. Do not cross the two and you will have much less of a mess. Use the wet hand to put the steak into the bowl of breadcrumb mixture. Use your dry hand to sprinkle a thin layer over the top. And then use the back of your fingers, the knuckles, to push that mixture in, turn the steak over, push it again, and just go back and forth, making sure it is well coated. Gently shake off any excess breadcrumb and set it aside to rest. Now, once your steaks sit for a minute, they're going to start releasing some liquid. So we're going to take more breadcrumb mixture and sprinkle it over the top. This is going to get stuck to the liquid that is starting to come out of the steaks and absorb into the breadcrumb mixture. And it's going to help us have a nice, thick, crispy breading. And once we have sprinkled a coating on all of them, we're going to take our fingers, turn them over, and again, use the knuckles to press that breading down. And this time, we're going to try to press as much of it down against the steak as we can to create that nice, thick layer of breading that's going to be fried up crispy. Then we just carefully flip these over and do the same thing on the other side. Now, when it comes time to fry, you can use whatever fat you want. I'm using lard, but you can use bacon grease or beef tallow, whatever you prefer, but you're going to want it up around 350 to 375 degrees, nice and preheated. And you can see my sous chef is waiting with great anticipation for dinner. While my skillet is preheating, I'm going to set my oven to a keep warm setting. You can also just put this on the lowest temperature. And this is an easy way to see if your oil is ready. Just drop in a little bit of your breading mixture and it should bubble and fry just like that. Now we place the steak in the skillet, laying it away from you. And after a few minutes, we flip it to the other side, nice and golden brown. After frying it on both sides, we set it on a rack so it can drain. And once everything has been fried up beautifully golden brown and we have placed all of our chicken fried steaks on the rack, we can stick these in the oven to stay warm while we make the gravy. Now this gravy is going to be super easy. I've got 4 ounces of cream cheese. I'm going to do about 1.5 cups of heavy cream, black pepper to taste, and I like a lot, so I'm going to put at least a good teaspoon in here. I'm going to start with a pinch of salt, but we'll taste the gravy and add more later as necessary. And I'm going to start whisking this over a medium heat to melt that cream cheese into the cream. Once that cream cheese is mixed in, we're going to turn the temperature down to a medium-low, and we want to just bring this to simmering. Now we're going to grab our egg yolks and start whisking those from those eggs we used earlier, and we're going to start adding slowly 1 ladle of our gravy mixture at a time. This is called tempering the eggs, and this is going to make sure they don't turn into scrambled eggs when we add them back into our gravy. After about 3 ladles, we can go ahead and slowly pour this back in to our hot mixture in the skillet. Now I have the heat turned off at this point just to make sure I don't cook these eggs too quickly. I'll turn the heat back on to medium and continue whisking this constantly until we bring this up to a simmer. Once we see that gentle bubbling just like that, we know the gravy is done. We can turn this on a very low heat just to keep it warm. At this point, you want to taste it and add any more salt as you find necessary. Now we're just going to grab our chicken fried steak and mashed potatoes and plate it up.
All right, y'all, that's how we make the chicken fried steak, the country fried steak, whatever you want to call it, with the white country gravy. Now, this is a heavy dairy meal. The one downside of doing this kind of stuff is that if you are sensitive to dairy, this is going to set it off. But this is not something we eat all the time. I mean, for crying out loud, it's been almost a year and a half probably since I made this the last time. This is a special kind of a thing. If you want to go heavier on the dairy, but still stay carnivore, this is the way that we can do it. And you can have chicken fried steak, country gravy, and those carnivore mashed potatoes. So I have a couple of cool things to tell you by the time you are watching this recipe video. There is a very fun new channel called Chris Cooking Nashville Studios. I'm gonna link that down below. If you guys would do me a favor, go over there and subscribe. I'm trying to build that up as quick as I can because we're going to start doing health vlog style videos. We're going to do interviews, maybe with some of your favorite keto and carnivore creators if they'll hop on a phone call with me and let me interview them. We're going to do informational pieces. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. So if you're interested in the health side of keto and carnivore and other low carb type things along with my recipes, I'm going to show you some of the research and some of the different things that I use, which is how I decide what we're eating, how we're doing it, those kinds of things. We're going to share that information with you guys. It's really going to be cool. So I'm going to link it in the description down below. I'm going to put a little card right here on the screen as well if I can. Chris Cooking Nashville Studios, and it's going to be all about some more talking informational type videos and less about the kitchen, but then I can link it back to my recipes. So we talk about a particular thing that's good for you, I can link you to a recipe that might have that in it. So I think it'll be a really cool thing, and it's something that we wanted to be able to do without bogging down the Chris Cooking Nashville channel where it's recipes and then too many of those other videos. So go give me a subscribe over there if you don't mind. Hit that notification bell. Do the same thing on this channel if you haven't already, because we're going to have a lot more recipes coming. Also, we talked about it in the Tuesday Night Live. I do a Tuesday Night Live cooking show every week, but we talked about it in the Tuesday Night Live. Chris Cooking Nashville is going full time. Woo woo! Yes, we have worked really hard, and thanks to the support of our band members in the Patreon and the YouTube memberships, they have made it possible for me to be able to do this full time. So instead of working a day job as a security guard, here very soon, within a couple of weeks of you seeing this video, I am going to be doing this full-time and being a musician with my lovely wife over here full-time. We're going to tour around the country. We're going to create amazing keto and carnivore recipes. We're going to tell you about all of the health goals we have, that we're achieving, that we're working towards, what we're doing, and we're going to try to create a community that incorporates all of your favorite creators jumping over here in the Chris Cooking Nashville space so that we can share the best recipes on the internet, the best health information we can all have access to, encouragement, motivation, and some good country music along the way. So Chris Cooking Nashville is going to be full-time. Miss Ash Taylor over here is going to be doing her music thing, and I'm going on the road with her as well. chriscookingnashville.com, ashtaylor.com. You'll find all of our information there. And as part of this, I have a whole bunch more announcements coming because the new channel is just one of a long list of projects we've been working on behind the scenes. It's coming. It's time. Chris Cooking Nashville is here to stay. Thank you guys for your support. Do me a favor, go make some amazing carnivore chicken fried steak and country gravy. Send us some photos to chriscookingnashville.com. Let us know you're making it. Comment down below. Let us know what you guys are doing and what you're most looking forward to from Chris Cooking Nashville. And we're going to make sure to see you guys here real soon. This is Chris Cooking Nashville and Ash Taylor. Guys, make sure to eat your meat, love your life, and right now, full time in the kitchen, we're going to see you for more recipes. Guys, have a good day.
Isn't it good? So many exciting things.
So many exciting things.
And yumminess right here.
Yes. What this basically translates to is full time, I'm now your personal chef.
You can make more yummy things like this.
I can make more things.
I think that makes me happy.
Yeah.
It probably makes everyone else watching at home a lot happier too.
I sure hope so.
I mean, this is really good though. They need to make this.
Yes.
This is, woo, we're excited.